Game on.
I remember the first time I ever saw these guys go at it, and it was at the Grand Slam of Darts in Wolverhampton in the last 16. Gary won that match, but James hit a 9-dart leg, and he gave a very large celebration in that match. Could that be a sign of things to come?
108!
Massive start by Anderson, who has the bit between his teeth for those maximums. So close last year to that 9-darter.
100.
Well, his average is only going to go down from here. I was just about to say, or is it?
100.
Not by a great deal. Solid start from Gary. He's always been known as a very good starter in matches, has Gary Anderson. And if you look back at all the 9-dart legs that he's hit in his professional career,
100.
they've all come early in matches. So I think he likes to ride that little bit of adrenaline at the start, and it really helps him.
And hope it keeps him through. Anderson, there's a little look to the side.
60.
Not quite the visit he was anticipating.
One thing we know about James Wade, though, is that he can creep up on you.
105.
I saw that earlier against Michael van Gerwen. He was on double 18 when we thought Michael van Gerwen was just going to sew up the leg. Anderson cannot get a shot at the bullseye from the 161, but Wade
56.
leaving a number that he's comfortable with because it can leave double top. Eventually, he does. 1 dart for it.
16.
And characteristic miss from the machine invites Anderson in.
So going to be treble 19, double 11. He misses the treble. So he's looking for tops now. And again we will go.
40.
Wade with the opportunity now for the tops. And he lands it to take the first leg.
Game on.
Very similarly to this afternoon where Anderson was playing against Michael Smith. The game plans I like to talk about where you have certain doubles that you prefer. James Wade almost invented the game plan of tops 10s and double 12s and doesn't like anything else.
140.
Gary's very similar. He's probably a little bit more pliable in that department. He's very good at other sections. He doesn't like to give himself enough credit, really.
60.
But the most encouraging thing for me, because I'm a Gary Anderson fan myself, I love to watch him play, is that he doesn't look in any discomfort, and that back trouble is way behind him.
140.
Yeah, approaching the hockey. As you say, without that grimace, that almost twist of the body he was
40.
almost plagued by last year.
He didn't really celebrate when he won the tournament last year because he couldn't. He was, well, we wanted to give him a walking stick to retrieve his double 8 that he hit.
100.
And I think the next day he did admit that he was very sore indeed. You do get injuries in darts, back injuries,
100.
leading knee injuries.
121.
But right now it's Wade who's trying to inflict pain on Anderson by getting to 2-0. He hasn't got the 25 there. He's going to lay up okay for a double that he prefers again. He's left topped.
Anderson with a little bit of work to do in this leg.
140. Danger 140.
Can only pressure, but it may be academic. And finds the bottom corner. If you put a goalkeeper next to that double top, he will still got it. That was right in the bottom corner.
So Wade, 2 legs up. Enjoying himself here.
60.
Gary Anderson.
Contrasting years for these guys. Gary hasn't played a lot of darts, just trying to focus on rehabbing his back and getting back to full fitness for this time of year where he's trying to defend this title and potentially go for a 3rd World Championship. And he dearly wants to win that Grand Slam of darts, his favourite event. He's never won it. He was denied last year in the final by Gezi Price. But Wade, he's gone everywhere, played everything, had lots of success, lots of tournament wins, 9 darters. Been a very successful 2019 for the Aldershot ace.
60.
Anderson back to the hockey. He can stretch a little further ahead in this leg.
Has a little bit of a lead here, but Dart players don't really like to rely on a lead of just over 100. They know that
100.
it can be eaten into really easily.
There's the treble he's looking for.
104.
Sensibly there, Gary used the bullseye in 25 in the middle of the board to leave himself on a 2-dart shot. You may ask, well, why didn't he go for the treble 20? You get the 25, you leave a shot
80.
that can yield 2 shots a double as opposed to 1.
96.
That's a 5-1 tactic. He's not going to get 2 darts at a double. He can only lay up and hope
88.
that Wade doesn't take the 1-4-1 out.
41.
So, the treble 20 that Wade's looking at, he's missed that one. Not the best of
43.
visits for Wade.
Are you 1-8?
Gary does like double 4. He should like that marker.
4.
He will be livid with that.
98.
He'll be even more livid if Wade takes the 98. It's very possible. Down for double 19.
Yeah,
And what a check out. That is right in the middle of double 19.
Well, it's Gary the
And that is
first.
going to sting Gary Anderson.
3 legs to nil. Anderson raced into it.
137.
A similar lead against Michael Smith and was pegged back. So he ain't over till it's over, but Wade will be buoyed by this.
41.
You can tell when Gary gets angry because he purses those lips. It's very hard for him sometimes to hide his frustration.
137.
That's why he's great to watch. He's not only a fabulous talent, but he does wear his heart in his sleeve, as well as the tartan, of course. I think he was the first dart player to
97.
wear a shirt that had a sleeve that was made of some sort of flag.
Looking for the maximum.
121.
Just missing that bottom corner. In a decent position though in this leg.
41.
If you'd have offered James Wade a 3-0 lead, you would have had your arm off. Right now, Anderson has breathing space. Double 16.
74.
And he was walking after that. He thought that was in, but he will return. It's been a much more solid leg from Gary on a double after 12, and most of the time that's good enough to win.
83. Gary Aguirre, 32.
So looking for double 16, Anderson to take his first leg. There it is.
Gary Anderson.
Nicely
The leg is James
found,
through first. Game.
and that might just settle the heart rate somewhat.
You do find that when you hit your first double in a match, the heartbeat does go down about 10 beats.
81.
I am perplexed though. As you can see on the back of James Wade's shirt, he's got a number plate, and he does actually have his own number plate on his car, which reads Wadey, because that's his nickname. Very creative. But I've always said, since he put the number plate on the back of his shirt, well,
100.
if the United Kingdom does leave the EU, he's going to have to change that number plate because it's a European plate.
You could cut the GB bit off, I guess, but yeah, it's a little bit scrappy, wouldn't it?
Yeah, when you come to darts, you don't talk politics. Leave Brexit at the door.
Indeed.
These guys would definitely talk about fishing. They both like to fish. Similar personalities away from darts. They like to be very private.
140.
Both fathers, of course. Right now, Anderson is starting to find that treble 20 with more regularity. He's wanting to cause
100.
problems for Wade in that department,
81.
and he's one of the biggest scorers in the world. He should be doing so. Needs to go 12 bull now. Bullseye.
36.
The players today have gone for that bull and had too much adrenaline in their arm.
So no finish for Wade, but he can set himself up.
85. Gary Aguirre,
With a slack
45.
last start, and Anderson needs to clean up on his favoured tops. Mutters to
25.
himself, and 2 darts that he really wants back.
75.
Yes, 75. He's looking to sting Anderson again, just like the 98 earlier. Checking with the ref. Bullseye it is.
50.
And Gary gets a reprieve.
Gary Aguirre, 20.
So So can Anderson close in within one leg? Double 10, there's the marker. And this time, it's almost defiance, wasn't it, from Anderson, as he sent that scudding into the double 10 to ensure that he took the leg.
Game on.
I don't know how good Gary is at pinball, but that one was off the bumper and it hit the jackpot hole, because I don't think that goes in without the marker. And the one thing that we say is that when people have an absence from tournament darts for an elongated period,
100.
you can get your scoring back quite quickly, but your doubling does suffer. And it does take a good couple of months of active play to get it really sharp.
Well, he's almost working on the job, isn't he, on that?
100.
And Gary's never really seen himself as a big practicer, but then again, he's never really needed to. He's just naturally gifted.
100.
Every pro needs to put in some hours, and when he does, watch out. It's the same for James. He's not noted as a big practicer, but over the course of the last 2 seasons, where questions have been asked about his talent and his drive for success, he has booked people's criticism by putting in the yards.
139.
So Anderson sets himself up for that tops again.
$65. Gary require 40.
Should be a level game. And is. That was a much better dart from Gary Anderson. There was no lurch in the latter part of the throw there. It was a beautifully thrown shot. And Wade's advantage of 3-0 has disappeared.
125.
Quite caught with the maximum either. Anderson looking for that treble 20.
100.
Again, we've got no lack of pace to this game. It's 2 players out there just really
100.
dishing up those shots.
Well, we have 2 players here who I would say come from the respect era of darts, where
96.
if you celebrated anything, it was frowned upon. We now have players like Gerwyn Price and Kim Huybrechts of Belgium, who like to give it large a little bit. They're from
81.
a new era of darting player, and you won't see much from these guys from start to finish. It's just rhythmic, metronomic stuff, and most of it's going to be
80.
excellent.
And look at there, Anderson, the ricochet. Wade was looking for that maximum, but
140.
not a bad visit all the same. Not an easy finish though.
Well, what Wade needed to do was to stop the rot. Lost the last 3. Can he stop the rot on tops? That's a very good shot indeed. How many times in his career has he hit that shot so crisply, just like that? He plays the game in an almost boring fashion because he does the same thing all the time, just like Anderson with that 60 segment. Hits it as if he's throwing a hedgehog.
Love that analogy, that's exceptional.
Well, when a dart player's not performing, the old saying goes, you couldn't hit a barn door with a hedgehog.
42.
No hedgehogs were harmed in the hitting in said barn door though.
Wade wanting a maximum, and gets one. Big 180 from James Wade. First of the game.
Just as good from Ando. What a switch. This game was good before this leg. It's just turned up a couple of levels. Wade cannot leave a finish. That treble 5 has absolutely crippled his chance of pressurising Gary. He's got 6 starts from 105 now, and he may only need 3.
Tops to win the leg. That was glorious from Gary Anderson.
That's one of the prettiest 12 dart legs you will ever see. He used a lot of portions of the board. He got rid of that one-leg advantage for Wade very quickly indeed. This game is looking very likely to go very deep.
These two players just seem to be bringing the best out of each other.
And I think it's a healthy respect between these guys. They've won so many tournaments,
108.
multiple majors. Gary has something that James doesn't, and that's a World Championship win. He's got 2 of them. He's got 3 of those though, which has got him back in the leg, but it's still in James's hands.
It's like trading maximums at times this game.
45.
That 45 has just invited Gary back in, but he has to stay on 20s. What a beautiful shot from Gary.
136.
Boisterous crowd finding its voice here in Leicester. And why wouldn't you be lifted by the quality of the darts as Wade leaves himself a nice finish. Anderson could still check out here.
Needs a 60. Cannot get there.
65.
He does half his score,
36.
just in case James has trouble on double 18. That flight is going to block the segment now. He needs to find an open piece.
18.
That double has cost him a lot of money in his career. It could cost him the leg as well.
Anderson looking for tops.
Yes.
And he puts it out and takes the lead. What a seesawing battle we've got here. Anderson against Wade, an absolute corker as we head for the break after this one.
Oh, what a pinhead. Typical Gary Anderson. Get the feeling that those 3 misses at double 18 have really hurt James. But then again, he did it to Gary earlier on with the 98 checkout. The thing about darts is it's swings, changes in scoreline. It's sporting mental torture up there.
Anderson just approaching the hockey now with a little smile around you. Wade has just brought a smile to his own face. That was massive. 180.
And Gary's old nickname was Smiler. He's had 3 nicknames in his career.
105.
One was Smiler, one was Dream Boy, which he really despised, and then you got the Flying Scotsman, which he kind of likes, but James loves that 180.
Gary 160.
How are we going to finish the session? We could do with a 116, but Gary's come up short.
92.
Can Wade equalise with 96? He needs that double 18. Double 9. Skin saver. Wonderful from Wade. And he gets himself level at 5 each. That was 10 legs of sheer brilliance. We expect more when we return. Who's going to win this one? Right now, I have no idea. It's just brilliance, and there's more of it to come. Maybe Gary's at the point in his career where he can say, I've done great things. Anything from here is a bonus.
Gary require 81.
Well, darts has been his life, but as you say, he's got his interest in fishing now. He's had that time away from the board.
46. Gary 141.
Right, I think there's just a sense now that he can play darts for the enjoyment of it.
Double 12.
To win the leg, sorry.
129.
So close to stealing that leg away from Gary. His heart would have skipped a beat there. Anderson has options here. The option for double 8 is taken. And why not leave the double? They got you the title last year.
Gary to throw first. Game.
Boy, has he been good on double 8 today already. He's been even better on that treble 20. He just doesn't miss it.
180.
No perfect from Gary Anderson.
Yeah, if Gary Anderson was a musical instrument, what would he be?
95.
Synth.
Bagpipes.
Bagpipes. Very topical.
96.
Two Scotsmen, of course, in this tournament,
60.
Peter Wright and Gary Anderson, who currently hold the World Cup of Darts, which they won in Germany back in June. That was
140.
Gary's return to competitive action after his break. So he has won an event this year that was not ranked, but it was just another feather in his cap.
140. There you go, 185.
For that very impressive CV. Anderson looking for tops. Double 10.
65.
He'll be back. James looking the pressure, but probably is waving that darting white flag
140.
for this 12th leg.
There you go, 20.
Should be leg over. And it is. Perfectly executed double 10 from Gary.
13 against James.
Gets himself a 2-leg gap.
There's Anderson, the Flying Scotsman, pulling away. Wade will do his best to keep him within range.
85.
Gary's one of those players who has had to utilise glasses in the last couple of seasons, and
58.
he's done so very well. He didn't want to use them at first. He played most of his career with really poor eyesight. Then it got to a stage where he really had to use them.
140.
James has worn them his whole life, so no adjustments needed. And there have been other players who have had glasses and decided to go the other way and take them off.
100.
One of the reasons they actually do that as well is because if you can look at James's flight when he brings the dart back,
140.
it's very close to his glasses, and if it knocks on the glasses, it will put the dart off.
58. Gets you 136.
That's why he's going to check out here. And he's put himself in the position. Double 8.
120.
So close.
He's had real problems in that corner of the board today, has James Wade. He doesn't find himself on double 16 or double 8 very often. He's going to have to pluck it out this time. He's got room to breathe. Prefers double 4 to double 8.
8.
But more misses from James just allow Anderson to get his arm back in potentially for the next leg.
Thought we were maybe on for a maximum there, but not a bad visit, but still.
8.
Pressure's on, double 4. This time Wade finds it. And we're back within one leg.
First.
Like I mentioned earlier, these guys could be said to be from a different generation.
96.
James is a lot younger than Gary, but he's been around so long. He's got so much experience. He won his first ranking event when he was 17 years old.
100.
Yeah, that's a solid. Well, he's 36 now, so good 2 decades in the game.
30.
He once famously said, James Wade, that if it wasn't for Phil Taylor, I would have been a millionaire a lot quicker. And then as soon as we got rid of Phil Taylor's brilliance,
59.
up pops Michael Van Gerwen to deny him some more cash and more trophies.
Wrong era for James
91.
Wade.
You could say he's like the Jimmy White of darts, because he hasn't won the world title.
Consistently brilliant, but just
125.
eluding that big prize.
Still got the ability to do it. His best attempt at a world championship was a semi-final on a couple of occasions, and it was
100.
double 18 in a final, semi-final in 2012 that cost him a win against Adrian Lewis to play Andy Hamilton in the final, and that was from
100.
being way in front, and that one really hurt James. Adrian went on to win that world title.
That sliding doors moment for James Wade, perhaps.
92. Gets you 117.
Big exchange coming in, and Wade will get a shot at tops to equalise. That would have been typical Wade, but Anderson now with a tricky 92. He has the bullseye option, or he could go for the 60s, trying to figure out what he wants. 2 double 18s maybe? 1. Another!
56.
It was a perfect guy for another, but he couldn't negotiate the third dart, and Wade punishes to get himself 7 each. The plot thickens.
Absolutely, this one, as you said, I think might be going to the wire. 7 apiece.
Gary's been made to work really hard today
60
against Michael Smith, and now by Wade.
And the crowd has quietened, and I dare say that's because of the tension around this arena.
100.
We've had some excellent darts this evening. It's not easy getting yourself up for such an important game in the afternoon, then having this big break,
60.
and then having to go through it all again. The fluctuations in adrenaline, it will tire you out, and I'm confirming that all of these players this evening are going to sleep very, very well.
No medicinal input required. It's going to be some zets
99.
from these players. Anderson looking to impose himself on this leg.
85.
Quite an important 60 in that last start from Gary. Just keeps that advantage over James, and he can't get to a finish now, so
60.
Gary will probably think, take
136.
96 here to lay up for tops.
Just a little delay as the flight comes loose. And a false start there from Gary Anderson. Finds the treble 20, and again double 8.
128.
You can see from the smile of Gary Anderson just how relaxed he is in this precious situation. And I've already mentioned earlier in the match, he does like double 4.
Gary require 8.
Doesn't want to give Wade any hope. No hope given.
Gary Anderson. 60 leg is Gary to throw first.
When you miss one, just how much do you feel that tension in your shoulders and your throwing arm and that kind of thing?
Very little tension on the board right now. I think there is a fly up there who didn't buy a ticket.
He's not going to get a share of the cash, at least.
140.
There is a story from a European Championship a few seasons ago where Simon Whitlock was so far behind that there was a fly invaded the stage and was on the board,
100.
and he thought, I'm going to lose the match anyway, I'll go for the fly, and he pinged the fly. Gary's pinging the 60.
Oh yes,
80.
so excited, just barged in there.
Gary was barging in on that treble 20.
100.
He's making things so difficult for James Wade right now. Earlier on against Michael Smith, Anderson was asked questions and he didn't have the answers.
102.
He's definitely got the answers this evening. He's been tested, but he's in position to get a 2-leg gap and put himself one away.
Yeah, Wade well behind even with that
79.
treble, which just tidies things up a little for him.
He's having to do his maths here. He scored 34.
29.
Oh well, he's left himself 50. He thought he was leaving himself tops there, but he needed an extra 10. He will go for the 10 this time
60. Gary require
and have
50.
2 darts at tops to put himself at 9-7 up. Tops it is. Tops he gets, right in the middle.
Gary Anderson.
Very good indeed.
James to throw first.
Anderson is going to play Michael van Gerwen tomorrow, which any time, any place, for any prize is worth watching. But tomorrow, it could just have a bit of extra spice.
And it was interesting enough last year. We were talking about that 140 checkout, which took him through at the expense of Daryl Gurney. There might be a few knocking knees around that time tomorrow as well.
94.
Gary wasn't even fully fit last year. Imagine what he could do tomorrow. Look at what he's doing now.
108.
He wants this game over in this leg.
10th 180 of the game.
100.
James cannot leave a finish. So Anderson's thinking, I can get rid of 2, 6, 1 and 6. If he's going to do
91.
that, he's going to finish this game in the best way possible, or maybe the second best way, behind a 9-dart leg.
Well, we talked about
123.
Gary Anderson liking his fishing. Is he going to catch the big one? No.
45.
Didn't even catch a herring there.
48.
But right now, Wade needs tops to stay alive, and he does so really efficiently.
18 leg is Gary to throw first. Game.
1 down, 2 to go. That's exactly what James will be thinking. I'm not sure how good Gary's memory is, but
134.
he was once in a European Championship final with Michael van Gerwen, and he was 9-7 up, cruising to the title. He lost the last 3 legs to MVJ and lost the tournament. He'll be hoping that doesn't happen here.
It's a picture of concentration. The face of Gary Anderson and a big 140 visit there. Sets him on his way. The deciding leg, perhaps.
100.
Excellent ton from Wade.
A real seesaw, this one.
93.
Almost left the 170 again there, Gary, but the treble 18 gets him further south than that. Wade needs to get into the finishing zone right now. Will do so, should do so. Does.
140. Gary 134.
So Anderson misses his treble.
84.
That'll do.
121.
Now, James, what have you got? Have you got a bullseye in your locker? You bet he has!
On the 18th leg.
And Mark Webster was so right. We are going all the way, and it's purely because of the brilliance of Wade and the sheer belief that he can now win this match. He's the favourite now.
Gary Anderson smiling in the background, but it's a smile which says, I had this maybe in the bag. What better way to set himself on the way than a big maximum? Oh, he just fell short, but that's a decent visit.
Gary didn't do a lot wrong in the last leg. He put himself in position. But Wadey, that belief that he has, it's just incredible sometimes. Back against the wall stuff, and he came out swinging. Only 60 from Gary in this final leg of the contest.
What can Wade conjure up in response? He won't fancy that one.
54.
He got away with it, Anderson, in the end.
Only 1 dart in front. Cancel that out. And more. He may switch.
140.
He changed his mind. He was going to go south, then decided to go back up top.
100.
Advantage Gary.
61.
This is going to be agonising for both players.
64.
Sensibly to the 25 from Gary.
50.
It's in the hands of the machine. One of those, he wants another. Would have left double 15. Does
90.
Gary Anderson have this 2-darter right now? He gets it, he wins. The likelihood is, if he doesn't, he loses.
Treble 19, oh, he's missed that. Treble 18, he's missed that.
57.
So he's left himself tops, but Wade is in the driving seat here. 20, tops to take the game. Oh, it's over the top. This time it's gone, and James Wade has come away with the crucial leg and taken this one 10-9. It went to the wire as we anticipated. Gary Anderson heads down. James Wade continues his progress. It's all set up for a ding-dong battle tomorrow.